Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we have some more to talk about today on the Jack Eichel saga. We made a video the other day talking about Jack Eichel. That video is doing quite well, so I appreciate you guys watching that video. So, not only did it do well, but we're getting more information, it seems like, by the day on the Jack Eichel front. So for a long time throughout the beginning of the season, things had been eerily quiet. And I think it's gotten to the point now where, because it got so quiet, and there may be a little bit of, I think because of where the Sabres are at right now, maybe their record has some indication of maybe letting up a little bit. But also teams realizing that, they're kind of in a desperate situation, so they'd like to get Jack Eichel, and they're willing to pay the price despite how expensive it may be. So what I was talking about the other day was we basically thought it was going to be Jack Eichel to the Vegas Golden Knights. And it sounds like now that may not actually be the only team that will be in the interest of Jack Eichel. That's why I'm wearing a Calgary Flames shirt today, is because the Calgary Flames seem to be the next team other than Vegas that is the most intrigued at this point on the Jack Eichel front. So according to Owen Krebs, it will likely cost the Golden Knights a 1 and 2 first round picks in a deal for Eichel. And we also heard him say Shea Theodore or Nick Hague could fit the bill as the under 25 defenseman in that Jack Eichel deal. So that's the thing. You're going to have to trade draft picks, a top end prospect, a forward, and a defenseman, which could be one of those guys. Now, if I'm Vegas, honestly, I like Nick Hague. I'd be trading away Nick Hague before I trade away Shea Theodore. And the reason for that is Shea Theodore is already a very nice, established player. Now, if it comes down to salary, I could understand why they go the Shea Theodore route. But with that said, in terms of pure talent, and if I had to choose one or the other, I would pick to keep Shea Theodore. I've always been a fan of his since he was with the Anaheim Ducks back in the day. So I think it would be the smart move for the Golden Knights to keep him, but we'll see how this plays out. We also have heard a little bit more about the potential forward that could be going in this deal, as, again, this is part of the salary going the other way. Riley Smith or Alex Tuch makes sense as one of the forwards going to Buffalo in the Eichel deal. They continued, the Buffalo Sabres could be eyeing Golden Knights forward Peyton Krebs, who in the first 7 games of the season is a -9. That is something to remember. He has no goals. So keep that in the back of your head right now with the value of Jack Eichel and everything that's been going on. Now, earlier today, just to add a little bit more spice, or earlier yesterday, by the time you guys watch this video, it'll be yesterday. According to Kevin Weeks, who is actually becoming a pretty good insider, Calgary Flames have offered Matthew Tkachuk a first-round pick, a former first-round pick, and 2 prospects for Jack Eichel. Now, this hasn't been confirmed, but at this point, there is a strong majority of people that are kind of nodding their heads saying, yeah, this sounds about right from what we've been hearing from different people. So that would make things very interesting here. Now, we've also heard from Emily Kaplan. It's down to the Flames and the Golden Knights for Jack Eichel. A trade is at the, in quote, 1-yard line, which, again, if you know football terms, basically it's practically at the conclusion at this point. Now, again, one phone call could change this to where the trade gets executed and it's done, or one phone call could completely make everything that has happened so far completely evaporate and we end up being back to square one. But that is what we've been hearing. And then we heard from Haley Salvian considers Matt Tkachuk and Andrew Mangiapane as the untouchables on the Flames, which doesn't make much sense because that would go against what Kevin Weeks said about that potential deal. Now, the thing is, Matt Tkachuk is also supposed to be a potential captain candidate to take over Mark Giordano as the next captain in Calgary. And there were rumors that he may be on the way in that trade. So the Buffalo Sabres here, depending on what the Vegas Golden Knights are offering up, they're going to have 2 pretty nice offers here in a potential deal for Eichel. Now, we also heard that Valimaki, Zari, Pelchier, Coronado, Dubé, and picks are some potential trade assets from the Flames. Now, these guys are definitely in different situations. Coronado, a first-round pick this year. Pelchier, a first-rounder last year, as well as Connor Zary, last year's first-round pick. Valimaki has, dare I say, bust, but he's taken a while to develop, so he's a little bit more of a project than the other ones. Surprising to see Dylan Dubé on this list because that's the guy they kept in order to send Giordano to the Seattle Kraken expansion. So it would be weird if less than a year later they trade Dubé. That doesn't make much sense. But again, if you're getting Jack Eichel, maybe that's what the price tag is. Harrington wonders if Elias Lindholm or Sean Monahan is available as part of that Eichel deal. And that's from Mike Harrington. I don't know about that. I think you're asking for a little bit much there. But it could be in the conversation. It depends on how desperate the Calgary Flames are to get in this Jack Eichel sweepstakes. Now, you also have to remember the fact that the Calgary Flames have had a really good start to their season, and the Golden Knights have not. So it makes you wonder there, is there going to be maybe more desperation from Vegas to say, we need to get this trade done to get ourselves back, to rewrite the ship? Or is it going to be the more, well, this would be a nice asset to our team in the Calgary Flames that ends up getting the deal? Or it could be the situation where the Flames, make this massive trade for Eichel and they end up hurting themselves by trading a guy like Monahan or Lindholm or one of those young guys. It may end up hurting them more in the right now than for what it's worth. With that said, I think there has been some discussion, and I'm going to go to a comment here from the other day's video. We have, thank you for the comment, Mario Vaccarella. I'm telling people that the New York Rangers are the best bet to land Eichel. It's no secret that the Buffalo Sabres are willing to take back salary to both meet their own cap minimums and to get the best return from some teams that can give them what will benefit them. This means that the trading team has tons of talent that is up and coming. The New York Rangers fit that bill. If the newly acquired Barclay Goodrow goes the other way, this can happen. I don't see a Vegas or Calgary deal to satisfy a Buffalo Sabres demand or for the mentioned teams making a trade for Jack Eichel. Let me know what you think. Well, Mario, you're actually going to get your own video here as a little segment here. So basically, there's a couple things. I agree that the Rangers should be in the sweepstakes. The problem is they have their own salary cap indiscretions right now. Not to mention they have this whole situation, Adam Fox, which I thought was a great contract. That's another $9.5 million starting next year. You have to re-sign Capo Caco this summer. And let's not forget, in 2 years from now, Alexis Lafreniere is going to be coming off his entry-level deal. Now, again, we're not expecting this mega contract for Lafreniere at that point, but there's still going to be some money there. There's not necessarily the money, even if you move on from Barclay Goodrow, where that will unfortunately work. It's going to have to be one of those trades, unfortunately, which Buffalo doesn't want to do. They would have to retain a significant amount of salary from Jack Eichel's contract. And I'm saying potentially as much as, 25 to 50%. And I don't know if they're going to be willing to do that. Because if they do take 50%, that would be a $5 million cap hit per season for Jack Eichel. And why would the Buffalo Sabres give $5 million to a player that's not on their roster? Again, if it makes the deal go through, you could see that happening. But the other problem is here too, I don't see them trading Barclay Goodrow. The optics of that don't look great for the New York Rangers in that deal. They just signed him less than 6 months ago, and you're kind of telling the free agent class next year, you could sign this nice long-term deal, but we're going to trade you anyway. Which I think Chris Drury, as a new general manager, he doesn't want to have that little bit of a blemish. We're already seeing the Golden Knights have that little bit of a, even if you sign here, you're not necessarily safe. You could be traded at any point. Marc-Andre Fleury is a perfect example of that. So I think the Rangers, Chris Drury is going to be, less reluctant or more reluctant to make that deal, trading a guy he just brought in. It does hurt the morale, does hurt the reputation of that organization. With that said, though, I do see a situation because the Rangers do have the cap space at the moment But they also have the prospects. And the problem is, who are you going to give up? Are you willing to give up what these teams are willing to give up? I mean, you're looking at probably Keandre Miller, one of Kakko or Lafreniere, or Filipino, or two of those three guys up front. And then for the Rangers' perspective at that point, it's like, does it even really make sense? So I think right now, with re-signing Zibanejad, I do think that was kind of the nail in the coffin for a Jack Eichel trade. But anything can change in a call. That's all it takes. But I do like your opinion there on that, Mario. But at the end of the day, I think it does, at this moment in time, make more sense for the Golden Knights and the Calgary Flames. And let's also not forget the management kind of getting goofied by the Rangers fans this summer with that Jack Eichel poster in downtown Buffalo. I don't know if he wants to be making any deals with quote-unquote the devil right now in Manhattan. All right, so with that said, we're going to get to my opinions here, because now you're getting to the point where you have two teams that seem very interested in Jack Eichel for two different reasons. Like I said, you have the team that's not doing well to start the season. A lot of injuries. The injury bug has hit the Golden Knights pretty hard. You're basically playing, your roster is pretty much the Henderson Silver Knights at this point. And for the Calgary Flames, they're maybe, catching some people off guard and maybe doing better than the expectation this year. And they want to ride that momentum in a potential Jack Eichel trade. So, at the end of the day, I think as a fan, I would like to see Jack Eichel go to the Vegas Golden Knights because it fits Bill Foley's kind of mentality there in Vegas. I just talked about with how the Rangers don't want to hurt their reputation as a team that just trades away players they just acquire. That's just what Vegas has done since they've come in. They are so focused on winning Stanley Cups, a Stanley Cup, not even multiple cups, a Stanley Cup. They're willing to burn bridges in the process. They are willing to do whatever it takes to win that Stanley Cup. And I could see them being that team that just is so willing to make that deal to win now that they could be the team to get it done. But I do think it's interesting here that Calgary, a team that is looking for a bit of a new identity now that Giordano has left, obviously a big piece of this team before that, you had Sean Monahan, Michael Backlund's getting a little older, even going further back than that, Mika Kiprasov. So they haven't really had those identity players, and we don't know what's going on with Johnny Gaudreau this summer. Does a Jack Eichel trade maybe convince him to maybe stick around in Calgary? He's got that number one center. You move Monahan down, makes him a little better. You move Zari, it allows him to step in next year. So there's different ways to look at this, but I am very intrigued at the thought of the Calgary Flames here. But I do, as a fan, want to see him go to Vegas because, honestly, I want to see the Vegas Golden Knights win a Stanley Cup. And again, maybe that's my American-Canadian bias there. If I was from Canada, maybe I'd want the Flames to get him because then there's a chance of a Canadian team winning a cup this year. But, from my perspective, I do want to see Vegas get Jack Eichel because I think they still have enough assets to get the deal done. But I also think Kelly McCrimmon and Bill Foley have enough, juice in this team to realize they can do something special this season and that they can get it done with a Jack Eichel trade. I think a lot of fans were pretty disappointed with the Marc-Andre Fleury situation, with how things kind of just, like I said, they pretty much burned a bridge with their franchise player that they had in year one and really have had since then. So, again, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But as of right now, I like the Vegas Golden Knights as the front runner. But again, I think those three teams, in this order, I have Vegas, Calgary, and I think the Rangers are still in the mix. But we just haven't heard much about them. So it's kind of hard for me to say that at this point. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Where do you think Jack Eichel will end up? Guys, we may be waiting here for a very big blockbuster trade here in the middle of the season. We don't normally see big trades like this, but this is one of those odd situations where we may see just a massive trade in the middle of the season. And buckle up, guys, because I think it's going to be interesting here. Potentially over the next couple of hours, potentially the next couple of days. We may see Jack Eichel finally get his wish to get out of the Buffalo Sabres organization. Guys, make sure to check out our Streamlabs shop in the description down below. I will be updating it here in November. Obviously, ahead of Black Friday, I'll probably put a deal up there for you guys, probably a 2-for-1 or something like that. I'll kind of take a look at the listings of what I can do for you guys for your holiday shopping. If you want some Goal Line Hockey swag, help support the channel, that will be all down in the description down below. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you again next time.